Hey, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to episode 3 of the Storyshort podcast featuring Lara George. Before I get started, I just wanted to share a few places for those that have not yet subscribed or followed or liked. You can find us on Facebook at Rodda Films, RODDA FILMS. In addition, you could follow our YouTube channel. Just search Rodda space films, RODDA space FILMS. In addition, for those wanting the only audio version, we are on SoundCloud, and that is Rodda Films as well. Just search us. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce Lara George. She is a photographer and owner of Lara George Photography. She's fantastic. She's a good friend, and she is one heck of a photographer. So enjoy, and let's get it started. How you doing, Lara?
I'm doing good, Barrett. How are you?
I'm doing great. So tell me, why photography?
Well, I've always loved taking photographs of everything, people, places, things. I love capturing stories on camera, it's just enjoyable to me. I like it a lot.
Cool. And what were you, so I imagine you weren't always a photographer.
Right.
What were you doing? Kind of take me through that journey of what kind of led you to photography.
Yeah. Well, my background actually is computers and software. And I was a regional director for a large corporation. And it was a fun job, loved it. But I also really enjoyed taking photographs of, friends and family. And as I started evolving, one of the corporations I had worked for found out that I did photography and asked, for me to start taking pictures of their events. And I thought, why not? I enjoy doing it.
Very cool.
So, yeah.
And so that's kind of how it started. And then you were doing kind of family, family photos, right, for a little bit?
Yeah. Actually, while I was working in the corporate world, I was doing a lot of photography I started my own little photography business because I liked it. And I primarily photographed teachers and their families. I really enjoyed giving them an opportunity to have great family photos without breaking the bank. Mm-hmm. And it was just such a good feeling. I thought, wow, if I could do this for a living, it would be great. But it wasn't always, in my career.
Gotcha. And what were some of your favorite things about doing the family stuff? Because I know you do more corporate mm-hmm. work these days, but what were just some fun highlights of doing that?
Getting to know the people, playing with the kids, but most of all, it was really when they'd see their photographs and how excited they would be, their faces and the joy that they felt, and it was affordable to them. So I really wanted to give people great photos that didn't have to cost a lot of money, but they were excited to have that they could post, or they could frame and so all that. It was really enjoyable. It really, really was. And so that's primarily where I started off. And I started my own part-time business really with teachers and their families. So
very cool.
You're in the industry a little bit. What about you? Why do you love what you do?
Well, it's in the same realm, one of my favorite things is, because it takes a lot to put together a video production. Mm-hmm. And so to be able to put that together and really capture the business owner or the company or the product, just capture for lack of a better term, the essence of who that person is or mm-hmm. what the business is. And for them to kind of light up and go, yes, that's my story, or yes, that's me. Or, I remember my very first video I worked with a family friend. She's a painter. Well, she does more than that, but that's mainly what she works with mm-hmm. is paints. And it was a portfolio project, so I didn't charge her. It was just like, hey, let's help each other out kind of thing. And long story short is when she watched it, she was like, that's me, and she was emotional. And that in a sense made me emotional because it was like, wow, yes, this is what I should be doing.
Yeah.
Kind of like, I think on the same realm as you is like when you get that initial feedback and people go, yeah, that's what you should be doing.
It's great because I feel that I get to be a part of, not only sharing their story, but making them look good, because not all of us have that feel of, oh, I don't look, they have the feel, oh, I don't look good, I don't photograph well. And then when they see themselves, they're like, oh my God, that's me.
Exactly.
It's really cool to be a part of that.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Now transitioning to corporate, more corporate work, I should say. What are some of your favorite things about that?
Well, what happened for me actually is I was in corporate for a long time, traveled nationally, internationally, photographed many events, loved it. And then a friend of mine said, you should really go on your own. And I thought, oh, I've been in corporate all my life. I could never go on what do you mean, my own business? No way. And I already had a family business kind of on the side. So I decided to leave the security of the corporate world, and start my own business. But where do you start? It was terrifying because, but I just knew that I had to give myself a chance and try, because if I failed and it didn't work out, I can always go back to corporate, but I didn't want it to be too late for me in order for me to try. So I wanted to break back into corporate. How do I get back into corporate, but have my own business? So it was a learning process, and it's been a journey, and it's been a great experience. And I'll be honest with you, as terrifying as it has been at times, or sometimes I'm insecure, I am so glad that I gave it a shot, because if I would have given up sooner than today, I wouldn't get to experience all the things that I do, from families to corporate to events. So I just enjoy, for me, the corporate's great because you get these people that are in business, and you get to be goofy around them. You get to bring out their personalities during these corporate meetings and these things that they have to learn, or they've got, finances around them. And it's awesome to see them jump around and be goofy in front of a camera, so I love it.
That's awesome. And I've known you for probably since I started my business, which is like 4 years ago. And I'm just super amazed and proud of you for taking that leap. And cause there's probably a lot of people listening and people that have experienced this in their life where they, do not like their job. They don't like they've outgrown their career. Right.
Yeah.
And so for you to be able to like notice that about yourself and then take that step, even though it's terrifying, that's huge. And I hope that people listening will find solace in what you're saying and what you will say, and maybe find a way to do that for themselves, because there's just something about just working and not being fulfilled with what you do.
Absolutely.
So the fact that you took that step and you took on those risks, and it's worked out for you, like it's really awesome. I'm really proud of you.
I don't know if this happened with you, but once I made that decision to leave corporate and start my own, I loved my corporate job. I loved what I did. But once I thought, oh, it's a possibility that I could start my own business, I wasn't fulfilled anymore, because I wanted now this other thing.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, well, for me, it was definitely, this is what I always should have done for a long, long time, and just kind of always put it off. So, yeah, so what I left before was just not in my wheelhouse. It just wasn't what I should have been doing. It was a nice bridge, but yeah, I'm definitely where I'm supposed to be. So, yeah, so that's even crazier or cooler in your particular instance, because you were great at your job, you loved what you did, but this is what you just felt like, this is what I should be doing.
Yeah. That was the inside. It was the thing that would make me fulfilled. Yeah. I think.
That's awesome. And yeah, I've seen you work, and you definitely are.
Well, I appreciate that.
Yeah, you should be doing it.
Because that's another thing about having your own business. It's you always think, oh, am I good enough? Or, oh, I don't know if I can do this. And so there are insecurities that go with it, but you just got to push through it.
Yeah, definitely. Well, speaking of kind of struggles and things like that, what were some of the things that you had to deal with early on, and how did you overcome them as a small business owner, entrepreneur, etc.?
Yeah, well, like I said, leaving the financial security of a corporate world, I didn't know anything about running a business, of my own, or starting a business for that matter. So what I did was I decided to get really involved with my local chamber, the Danville Chamber of Commerce. And what that helped me do was surround myself with people that wanted me to succeed, because I think that's huge. Because everybody tells you, oh, you should do this, you should do that. Or, I don't know if you've had this in your own business. People love to give you advice. But I wanted people that were already ahead of me. I wanted to learn from them. And so I really decided, that's it. I've got to surround myself with people that really want to see me succeed. And now today, 4 years later, I'm photographing some of the largest corporate events out there. I'm photographing families, and I get such a variety of things that I get to do. And it's really because I think it's, for me at least, starting off, it was the people that I surrounded myself with. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, you're speaking to the choir, or preaching to the choir, I should say. Yeah, that's exactly my story as well. I mean, I was telling Zay on the previous podcast that the job I was in before, I was out in another town, and I was just told that that particular chamber was it was a waste of time, and it wasn't worth the money and things like that. And of course I allowed that to be the story. I accepted it instead of going to see it myself. But anyway, fast forward, and my dad, who was a partner with me when we started this business, he was just like, you got to join the chamber. And I was kind of apprehensive of it. He goes, just call him. And I called him, and that was the change in history, I guess. Because they were very friendly up front. The new president coming in at the time was Shelly Despotakis, and we got along right away. And her and I became really good friends, and she was very vital in the start of my career and getting it to where it was when she stepped down, or left the chamber. And so yeah, I owe everything to the chamber, to her. And now with Zay, it's like Zay is the new chamber president, or current one. And he's doing some different things and kind of doing things in his way, and it's just a whole new level of success.
I think that's it. It's a whole new level, and by starting somewhere local, you kind of get your feet wet. Mm-hmm. You figure out how to, everything from getting organized to invoicing to, hey, what would you do with this? And it was really a great platform to start, for sure.
And did you find that it was just the more you showed up,
yes,
the better? I mean,
it's funny, as a chamber member to this day, I hear sometimes businesses say, oh, I joined a local chamber and they don't do anything and I'm not getting anything out of it. I'll be honest, my reaction to that is, well, what have you done? Mm-hmm. Because for me, the only way to succeed and to get people to know me out there was to get to know the people. And what better, faster way to do it than going to your community chamber? Mm-hmm. You go to the events, you meet people, you get to know them. In my business, which I'm sure yours is very similar, it's all relationship building. Mm-hmm. For me.
Exactly. Yeah.
For me, building a relationship with somebody is more important than what I'm going to get out of them for business.
Yeah.
And I really think that comes through in my work. It comes through with my clients. People trust me. I don't hold things hostages. I don't try to upsell. It's honesty. Mm-hmm. And I just think that building relationships, how do you do that? Mm-hmm. Well, I learned it all through the chamber. Yeah. I mean, I'm outgoing and I can meet people, but business, it's different.
Yeah. So your journey has taken you almost full circle, because now you're a chamber board member. Mm-hmm. So, well, actually, let me back up real quick. You were an ambassador. Mm-hmm. And so just briefly summarize what that looked like. So
the ambassadors for any chamber, mm-hmm. they're really representatives of the chamber, mm-hmm. From the people that are, the chamber doesn't do anything for me. You explain really how it can do things for you, mm-hmm. what you have to do. So you're really kind of a, what's the word? Well, not ambassador, but I can't think of it now, but
spokesperson.
A spokesperson. Yeah, thank you. Perfect. Yeah. It's like a spokesperson. You talk about the chamber, how it works, ribbon cuttings. I just met with somebody the other day who just became a member, and she's got a great business. And I said, why don't you do a ribbon cutting? And she said, you can do that? And I said, yeah. And so I explained to her what it was, and it makes a difference. So we just we're out there to help. We're out there to connect others. Who do you want to meet? Barrett, you're in film. Who are some of your clients? Who is somebody you would like to be introduced to? Chances are I probably know a lot of people out there. Well, maybe. I don't know.
Well, yeah, but in your travels though, because you were involved with some of the networking groups, you're involved in were and are involved in other network groups outside of the chamber. So yeah, I mean, there's a great chance that you know somebody, I mean, if you spend enough time at the chamber, you have a person for everything or multiple people.
And it's great for a business like ours. When you go out on your own and you're by yourself, you don't have a staff. You don't have a room that you can go in and say, hey, what do you think of this marketing piece? Or, should I do this conference? But with the chamber, what I have found, and any really other networking groups, what I have found is those are your staff. Those are your people. So you can talk to anybody about, things you should do. And it really makes it helpful for someone who has such a small business,
Yeah, no, that's a great point.
I shouldn't say small business. I should more say, independent business.
Sure. Well, so now you're a chamber board member. So now what's that transition been like? And
it's been easy because it's been brand new. It's just this month. So I haven't had a lot of experience. But what's fantastic about being a board member, I live in Danville, so I get to be part of the community on a whole different level. It has nothing to do for me with business. It's more about what my town is doing. What's the next plan for a parking lot? I get to really be caught up in all of the latest community events, that kind of thing. And so it just brings me into the community on a deeper level than even being an ambassador. So
very cool.
Yeah, it's fun.
Well, so transitioning back to Lara George Photography, what what is some advice that you would give to somebody, somebody starting out a small business? Could be a photography business. It could be anything. What were some, maybe specifically, what were some struggles you had, and what were some things that you wish you could tell your, I guess, younger self?
Well, yeah. So the first thing I probably would say is do something you love. Absolutely love, because the money will come later. What I have found, and I find this true for myself, is if you go after something that's going to pay a lot of money, you probably won't love it. But if you do something you love, it's just amazing. And also find out what your values are. What are your core values? Like for me, I want to be kind, I want to be honest, and I want to be fair. And, I think that building relationships, those qualities are really important to me. And then lastly, I would say without a doubt, do what you say you're going to do. Whether it's call somebody, make an appointment with somebody, email someone back, get information, connect somebody to another business that maybe would be helpful for them. Do what you say you're going to do. I learned early on through someone else who is very successful that go that extra step because you'll stand out. So it was really great actually. He owns an air conditioning company, and he has his guys, and they'll come in and they'll do their air conditioning thing, but all of a sudden they notice a light bulb out. And they'll climb up on a ladder and change the light bulb. It's not in their job. It's not their scope of work, but they do it because, let me help you. I got a ladder. I can do it real quick. No problem. People remember that. They also remember, you said you were going to call and you didn't. You said you were going to email and I haven't heard from them. They said they were going to connect me to this person and they haven't. So, but really the most important thing is just find something you love and just be the best at it.
Yeah. No, that's great. Yeah. I agree. Because I think getting back to the beginning of the conversation I think people really need to find that thing that they love and enjoy. And, when you're doing something that you're supposed to be doing, whether it's a career, a job, a relationship, friendship, etc., that it shows, and so I think, again, just the fact that you're doing what you want to do, and then you're also through the chamber helping people find their route, and their niche, whether it's in a particular business or just in the business world in general. So I can totally 100% agree with that.
It's funny because your industry is very similar, but I could go after the money.
Mm-hmm.
I could go after the big shots. I really could. And it's not in my core.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I love what I do.
Mm-hmm.
And so when someone said you could possibly do it as a career, I thought to myself, oh my God, if I could do this as a career and make money,
Mm-hmm.
I would be so excited.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited.
Yeah. No, like I said, every time I see you at a chamber mixer or a certain event or whatever, I mean, you're all over the place, you're taking photos, you're having a good time. Everybody knows you. And I mean, it's just, like I said, you're right where you're supposed to be.
Yeah.
So it's really cool to see.
Yeah.
So Lara, so as far as from where your career and your business started to where you are now, obviously you, just like most people, you struggle at first and you're kind of running around trying to put out all these fires and you're saying yes to everything. And, you know, you're just doing everything on your own and working 50, 60-hour weeks, et cetera.
Yeah.
What were some of like books, training seminars, mentors, et cetera, that kind of helped change that perspective and start helping you get more organized and more focused?
Yeah. You know, it is always overwhelming when you start your own business. It's like you're working around the clock. You're trying to figure out where the next, you know, business, you know, is going to come from and what do I do next? And you spend tons of time probably talking to too many people. But one of the things that really helped me actually kind of hone it in was my tax guy, Bruce Rain, actually fantastic, by the way, tax guy, if you ever need one. He gave me this book called The 12-Week Year. And it was a small book. It was an easy read because if it was a big book, I wouldn't read it. It would take too long. I was too busy.
Yeah.
So what they do is it breaks it down by the year. Instead of doing 10 or 12 goals in 1 year, they break it down by the quarter. So you have 2 or 3 big goals in that quarter. And it's unbelievable how that changed my life because I'm getting so much more done. And then they help you with writing tasks down to get to those goals and so on. So that was a real big change for me. And then after about 3 years of being in the business and trying different things, because I didn't want to spend too much money on workshops and stuff because I just didn't know what was good out there. I ended up about 3 years later going to and studying under one of the best photographers in the world. He's very, very well known, Cliff Motner. And although I don't do the same type of photography he does, it was huge. I spent a week with him. We went all over. He taught me more about lighting, I just looking at angles. And so for me, it really brought my confidence as a photographer. It brought my confidence up a lot more because he also was very vulnerable. He would share his stories and kind of what we're doing right now. And it just made me realize I don't have to be so quick and fast and know everything.
Right.
Because I think as new business owners, you think that if somebody calls you or asks you for something, you have to be the expert, and you don't. Mm-hmm. You just have to know how to answer them or how to get back to them or how to learn it, you mm-hmm. know? So, so I would say a couple of those things were key for me. Oh. You know, what about you? Do you have any book recommendations? Because I know you read a lot of books.
Yeah.
Probably more than me.
No, I mean, not lately, although I do have a stack actually out there and at home that I need to get to. But I think the biggest book for me was The E-Myth.
I don't know. I haven't heard about that one.
Well, that's really kind of the small business, for lack of a better term, Bible, because mm-hmm. it really breaks down an understanding of all the different hats you have to wear mm-hmm. When you're first starting out. And obviously you have to eventually accept your strengths and also your limitations, and then learn to find other people to do those, to take on those limitations for you. Because you like spending time trying to be the expert on every single thing. Mm-hmm. In your field, that's could be a different story. But as far as like, I need to learn to be a really great accountant for my business. I have to learn to,
you're right, to
handle all the marketing, where there's people out there that you can hire an accountant and you can hire a social media expert or an ad agency or whatever that could
mm-hmm.
be. So the E-Myth is great. I'm sure a lot of people have heard of it. If you didn't, check it out, because it'll really kind of make you feel better when you're first starting out. Like, okay, I'm not the only one.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, I hired, mentors along the way. The guy that got me into this business, Mark Wonderland, he started Handcrafted Business Films. It's an online program. I learned through him, and then I actually flew out to Austin and spent a few days with him
Oh.
and really learned kind of the back end
Great.
stuff and, you know, how to put a production together. Also, my really good friend, Dar Clark from high school, you know, he's been in film and communications and broadcasting since we were in high school. So he helped show me the ropes as well, which that was huge early on. And then now I work with Eric Thane. He runs Cinema Mastery. He, you know, he's actually coming out next week. We're going to shoot our first passion project, and he's really helped me understand and take my business to the next level. And then, of course, you know, I've done some work with Zay, you know, with RZP Consulting, and he's been amazing for getting me structured, because as creative types, generally the rule is that, you know, we are thinking big picture and we have all these magical ideas in our head, but we don't, you know the basics, I guess you can say. So, yeah.
You know, and it's funny because, to your point, with the things that we're doing or we've done, and we're saying, hey, yeah, you know, workshop here or going train under this, that wasn't what we did in the very, very beginning of our business. No. So I would say anyone starting their business or wanting to start their business, do some research, just join a local chamber, get the feel, get out there, learn. Don't spend all the money on marketing and this. It's, you know, you make mistakes like that. You spend a lot of money, and it's just, you don't need to in the beginning for sure, I think.
Yeah, well, no, I mean, I think it goes back to the work smart, not hard. And I think that you make a great point of really research what to spend your money on, because it's so easy to you just throw money at things and then realize that it was not money well spent.
There's a lot looking back. I wish I wouldn't have done that. I wish I wouldn't have. And that's why when I work with anybody who's, you know, it's just starting out, I'm always, let's just take it one step at a time, and, you know, just see if this is something that you can make it work.
Yeah. So what's something you would tell Lara George 4 years ago about your business? So you've kind of covered maybe some struggles you had, but like, what's like the one thing that you're just like, man, I really wish I knew this back then?
Yeah. I would say, on a business aspect, I would say anything is possible, but you have to act on it. And I think that was one of the biggest struggles for me is, yeah, there's a lot of great ideas out there. I have a lot of great ideas, but nothing's going to happen unless you do something about it. So there was that. But then also I would say, don't ignore your instincts, good or bad, because those feelings don't lie. There's a reason why you have the red flags or the hair standing up at the back of your neck or the celebrations or excitement. You know, so I would absolutely say trust your instincts a little bit more. And then also the number one would be that I would say, little Lara George, understand that you may not always have confidence at times, but you're absolutely worth the success. So just do it. Yeah. No matter what the outcome. So.
Yeah. So it's just like taking action and just, no, that's great.
I just photographed Comcast at one of their large corporate meetings, and that was one of the things that they had posted on one of the slides was, you know, it may be a great idea. It doesn't mean it's going to happen.
Yeah.
You have to act on it.
Yeah, no. And I think that's where a lot of, you know, fresh business owners or fresh entrepreneurs or what have you, and it all kind of ties back into all the over coaching and all the over planning. And I think we all do it. I mean, I've done it a lot of times where you want things to be perfect before you do it. And instead of just jumping in and just trying it and then learning from it. But I do think that, you know, there's also, there's a lot of kind of people, Gary Vaynerchuk, you know, he's a social media guru, you know, expert. He posted, and gosh, I wish I would have took a screenshot of it before I brought it up. But it was essentially like, you know, people are kind of posting quotes about hustling and doing this, but you do have to do the actual work.
You do.
So I'll have to put a addendum at the end of this to say what that quote was. Yeah, but yeah, that's really what it is I think there are a lot of business owners that do spend a lot of time on all that, and they're not doing that stuff. And I think I was kind of early on as well.
Absolutely.
I think it's just natural, but yeah, you do get to a point where you do have, whenever you say you're going to do, you have to start doing it.
I think everybody is vulnerable when they start their own business.
Right,
I think everybody is insecure.
Yeah.
I think there's definitely a lot of fear in some
sure.
aspects. So if you can partner with people right away who, like I said, have your best interest at heart, want to see you succeed, you can cut out a lot of the riffraff and kind of maybe get a little more streamlined. And I think, everything else will fall into place the way it's supposed to.
Yeah.
So,
no, that's a great point.
yeah, I love what I do. I'll tell you, I absolutely love what I do. And, I wouldn't want to change it. I wish I would have started earlier.
Sure.
But shoulda, coulda, woulda.
Yeah. Well, all those things had to happen to you for you to get to this point. I think it's easy. Again, it's easy for us to, man, I should have been, because I do it all the time. I wish right out of high school, because when I was in high school, video production, there was no YouTube yet. Video production was not.
You're old.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah. No, I'm definitely starting to feel
YouTube.
Yeah, I know. I don't know what I did. I don't know how I survived without YouTube. But yeah, I mean, I really wish, because I've always had that flair. I loved movies since I was a kid. I always daydreamed about being in this movie or directing this movie and those things like that. But yeah, there's always just that struggle to be cool, and being in video production when I was in high school wasn't cool. And so I really feel bad that I had that kind of mindset, but I mean, I think a lot of kids do. And then, you have to go through your own trials and tribulations and learn and fail and fall on your face. And boy, did I ever. And yeah, it took a long time to get to where I am now, but I had to go through all that stuff to get to where I am now. And so I think that's exactly what.
Definitely. Yeah. My corporate work has helped me really fit into the corporate world. That's the world I feel comfortable in. Yeah. I love taking, I do like doing all kinds of photos, but with that corporate experience, it really makes a difference, I think,
Yeah. Well, yeah, you understand that world. Yeah. So it's just a nice bridge.
Yeah.
So yeah, so what I also wanted to ask you was about, I'm totally blanking.
Movies.
No, not yet. I got one more good question for you. So where do you see your business in 10 years?
I think, I don't know. I would think in about, let's say 10 years, if I'm lucky to still have it, I would say I'd love to somehow be more of a mentor to people. I love, teaching and just working with individuals that just kind of showing them my path and how it worked for me. Just, I guess, more of a mentor. But it would be great to have my own business to where I could run the business side of it, have some younger photographers underneath me. And we just had a real successful business, and it was a team more than just a me. Yeah. I'm really all about the team. I love people. I love having a team. I like having a group. So it would be good to see something along those lines if I could expand.
Very cool. Well, yeah, I mean, I think you've had a lot of coaching, and you do some stuff with a lot of photographers and all that. So I think that's definitely very possible for you.
Well, one of the things that I find very important is, because it is an individual business for me, I'm not a photographer that keeps everything. I'm not like, ooh, I can't tell you that. I'm not going to, no, she's going to take my business. I don't want some of that business. And so I have really partnered with myself with probably about 5 really good photographers. Some love doing buildings, some love doing boudoir, some love doing weddings, and it is so great as a business person to say, geez, I'd love to do your wedding. However, it's not my specialty, but I have the perfect photographer I can introduce you to.
Yeah.
And so it's just that extra customer service. It's not like, sorry, I can't do it. Instead, it's, let me help you. Let me connect you to the right type of photographer.
Yeah. And that's great too, because that means that you're a resource for a lot of different things. And I know some of those photographers you partner with, and they're fantastic. And that's the same thing for me is, I love doing the short documentaries for businesses. Now I'm doing more commercial work. But I have no interest in doing weddings or filming somebody's baseball game or what have you. And there's nothing wrong with that type of, it's just not for me.
Yeah.
But the goal is to find more people that can do that stuff, because there is a market for it and there are people that need it. And, it's just kind of one of those things where, I want to tell stories.
Yeah.
I want to, make, their videos, but I want to make films, have them be more like films. And so the fact that your niche and you're very strict about that for the most part, I mean, that's important.
It was great. This was the first year ever that I took Thanksgiving off the entire week. And I usually work that whole week, except for on Thanksgiving, for family photos, because people are getting ready for their holiday photos and stuff. It was so cool to take that whole week off. And when I had some of my good clients ask me, hey, let's do photos, I referred them to another friend who's a family photographer.
Yeah.
If they decided they liked her better and they want to continue going to her, then that's the way it was meant to be.
Right.
But it was so great that I could go on vacation knowing that I've taken care of my clients, even passing them off to another photographer.
Yeah.
It was very cool.
Well, there's people, like for weddings and stuff. I mean, I have some friends that are amazing at wedding videos, and they win awards, and that's the thing, is it's like there's people that just understand it and they see it and they just know how to put it together, and those are the people that have the mindset they should be doing it, whereas we don't. We're interested in, and same thing with like family photos and things. It's just, you can do it, but where you really love to do is the corporate photos.
And I think that's when starting your own business and you're going out, what kind of photography do you do? I do everything, because I was so afraid that I wouldn't get work if I said I only did specific. And so that's one of the things that I learned through other business people, is really streamline and find out what it is that you truly do love, and then go after that market.
Yeah.
So you don't have to do everything.
Yeah.
I could, I just don't want to.
Yeah, exactly.
Yay.
No, that's great. Well, so I have some fun little, since this is, since I do run a video production business, I should probably.
And you're a movie buff.
Yeah, I probably should steer the conversation to film before we wrap up here. So what is your favorite movie?
So I have a lot of them. Gosh, I would say, don't laugh. If I tell you, are you going to laugh?
Probably.
Okay. So you probably will, because it's such a chick flick. But I love Mamma Mia.
Okay.
Okay. I know. It's a musical. Whatever. They can't sing. Whatever. You know what I like about that movie? It's colorful. It's fun. I'm in such a good mood, and I'm so happy after I watch it. Yeah. It's literally one of the only movies that I can watch over and over and over again.
Yeah. No, I actually wouldn't laugh at that. I actually, full disclosure, I have not seen it. So maybe if I see it, I'll call you and laugh. Just laugh right into the phone. But I have, but I know a lot of people that love it. And I actually am not anti-musical. It's just, they just have to be really good. If I'm going to people have to really go you have to see this. It's not what you expect. Yeah. I'll usually go see it, but I've seen Shayna and Jerusha's work with I Can Do That Theater, and they're mostly musicals, and they put on a great show.
Oh, they're fantastic.
Yeah. So, that's kind of opened my eyes up to be all right, because I like action movies. I like the dramas. I like period pieces. I like all that stuff.
Well, the good news is you can rent it now, so you don't have to invest in going to see it. Sure, so you can always turn it off. But
yeah.
But I have to ask you, what's your favorite movie? If you could go to an island and you only were allowed to take one movie, what movie would it be?
See, that's a tough question, because I go through phases. I honestly have probably 10 movies that are my favorites, and
but one. There's only room for one in your suitcase. What would it be?
Probably Jurassic Park.
Really?
Yeah, and I know that's
the original.
Yeah, the original. Yeah, it's just a good mixture of drama, action, wonder. Because I love Spielberg. I like everything he's done pretty much.
He's good.
But yeah, it's just a mixture of everything, and it really, as a kid, you're just oh my God, this is possible to recreate dinosaurs, and some of that stuff, the T-Rex. Flipping the car over in the mud and the rain and all that. It just looks so real. And yeah, it just really, it made you expand your horizons of what's possible. And so I think, and Jeff Goldblum was hilarious.
Oh, he's great
in that movie. And so there's just a lot of really good things. So that's, just off the top of my head, that's probably the one I would say.
You might want to hold off on going to see Mamma Mia then.
Oh yeah. Well, I probably should just see it just so I know, so that if I can laugh or not laugh next time somebody brings it up. So if a movie was made about your life, who would play you?
Well, I would say me because I could play me the best. But since
Right.
I'm not a professional actress, there's a lot of great actresses out there. But I would have to say right now, one of my favorites is Rose Byrne.
Okay.
Do you know she was in Instant Family
Yeah.
with Mark Wahlberg? You know, I'm blonde, she's brunette, so whatever. But she's just funny. I mean, I think she's really funny, and I think I'm kind of funny,
No,
and
you are.
and she's beautiful. I mean, she's really pretty. And then, and who can't, you know, not want a beautiful English accent? She has an English accent, so I think it's a great little package, and she'd make a great Lara George.
Very cool. Yeah, I like her work.
Yeah, she's good.
I do think she's Australian, though.
Oh, Australian. Well, okay.
Well, I could see, I just know how comment sections work, and somebody would be like, yeah, you can't say you're a movie buff if you don't know what that
Okay.
is.
I'm not a movie buff.
No, I'm talking about
Oh,
me.
you're okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I was like, I'm not, but yeah.
Yeah.
So,
No,
I think Rose Byrne.
she'd be a great choice to play you for sure.
So I asked my kids, I said, hey, I just asked them, I said, if there was a movie about me, who would, you know, so one came back with Reese Witherspoon and the other with Michelle Pfeiffer.
Okay.
Both great.
Yeah.
Really great. So, you know.
Yeah, no, I could see that as well.
Yeah.
Well, they're both blonde, and they both can. I always thought, I just love your voice. It's very unique. So I think if they can pull that off, then that'd be perfect.
I think Reese Witherspoon probably has more of my personality, I would say.
Yeah,
But
I like her.
I'm
I think,
still going to stick with Rose Byrne.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I do like the Reese Witherspoon thing for you, though.
Yeah.
I think that'll work. But
So what about you, though? I
yeah.
have to ask you. I can't leave here without asking.
Yeah, well, I got Seth Rogen a lot, which, you know, whatever. I'll just embrace it.
He's funny.
Yeah. I got Will Ferrell a lot. So, you know, whatever. No.
Yeah, you got to find an action star. Who's like an action star guy, since you like action?
Yeah, well, it definitely wouldn't be an action film. It'd be dark comedy. No, I probably, yeah. I mean, I mean, Seth Rogen's great. I mean, that's fine. I mean, I would like to think that Chris Pratt could play me.
Oh, he's a good one. He could play me.
Oh, right.
Actually, no, he could play my husband.
There you
That's
go.
it.
In real life and on the.
Why not?
No, that's always fun. I'd be interested to see if because I do have a script about my life that I'm working on, and it would be interesting to see if it worked out and who would end up playing me. If it would all come to fruition, that might be kind of funny to see. So before I let you go, a couple things. So I got a little trivia game. And I made Zay do this. So if you don't, I won't tell you what Zay did, so that way you don't feel good or bad about what happens. But I got 3 quotes for you. And for everyone you get right,
I gotta say, okay.
For everyone you get right, you get a $5 gift card.
Oh, Zay probably cleaned up on this.
I do not have any information on that. All right. So first one for a $5 Pete's gift card. Quote, you're going to need a bigger boat.
You're going to need a bigger boat. No.
That's okay. It's Jaws.
Oh.
Yeah.
When he's at the end and he sees it.
Yeah.
When he sees Jaws.
When he finally sees it for the first time. That's okay. As far back as I can remember, I always wanted to be a gangster.
What's the Coppola one? What's that?
You're close.
For the sake of the people listening, I'm not going to make them wait any longer. I don't know.
No, that's okay. Goodfellas.
Oh, good fellas. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think these are more like the geeky movie buff kind of.
You need some chick flick quotes in there. You got to watch Mamma Mia.
Okay. What if this was a Mamma Mia quote?
Then I'd probably know it. I've seen it 1,000 times.
Yeah. Well, I'll make sure on the next one I have that. All right. So last one. Yeah, but John, if the Pirates of the Caribbean breaks down, the pirates don't eat the tourists.
Not Pirates of the Caribbean.
No.
Okay. Then I don't know.
We might have just been talking about it.
Goodfellas? No. Oh, Mamma Mia?
No.
What? I don't know.
Jurassic Park.
Oh.
Well, we actually are due for a coffee meeting, so
I'm gonna. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna come with some trivia quotes there for you.
Yeah, well,
And
we
let's
have to do this again, and I'll bring some more in quotes chick flick quotes, and then
Definitely.
and then you can bring whatever you want and see if you can stump me.
Musicals.
Yeah, there you go. All right, Lara. So we're just kind of winding down. Why don't you let everybody know where they can find your work?
Yeah, sure. Come and visit me at larageorgephotography.com, and that's LARA georgephotography.com. I can also be reached on Google, LinkedIn, all the above.
Very cool. So thank you again so much for coming. It's been awesome having you on.
Thank you for having me. This has been great. It's been a lot of fun.
Very cool. And so catch Lara on her website or at any chamber mixer or event. And thank you so much for listening. Feel free to subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow my Facebook page. Also look for us. I think I'm going to be posting the audio files on SoundCloud. So for those of you that want to listen to this in the car or somewhere else, that'd be another option for you. So again, thank you all for listening, and we'll see you next time.